Oh, hello, and welcome to How Now.
How now?
How now?
How now?
How now? This is how now.
How now?
How now?
How do you balance the facts finding and the lens of satire that you're able to, create things in?
I think the key to really good satire is truth and fact is at the heart of it. But there's a relationship at play where there's sort of a couple of ways to look at truth. It's like, you have your sort of surface facts, but then you have the greater truth, like the deeper meanings behind things. And, satire in general, like cartoons, editorial cartoons are a form of satire, but, you have like The Daily Show, SNL skits, whatever you want to, your form. Satire is using storytelling and metaphor, it's using lies. They're telling lies in a way. It's telling fiction to get at a greater truth. That tension between the two, between sort of the fiction and the storytelling, it's making your brain sort of make that connection. And the fact that at the heart of it is a message and a concept that delivers a message that resonates as really strongly true to readers. That's what makes satire work, and that's what makes it effective. I mean, editorial cartooning it's an opinion medium. So when I say truth, I mean there's truth behind my opinion, behind the message, and often you have to read between the lines and really, and analyze like what's going on, because things are so confusing. And like, the current administration, the president, they want chaos and disinformation and misinformation to be out there to confuse the public. So it's hard to know what to believe. I can't tell you how many times I'm like, well, where are you getting this information from? They're like, well, we don't know. There's so much out there. It's so hard to know what to believe. You can decide it for yourself. I mean, but just, leave this where it is. And I'm like, that's not how it works. I mean, how it works, there are reputable media companies that spend lots of money and lots of manpower and years in their mission to fact check and keep their reputations as truth tellers. And those are newspapers, but there are other media companies, broadcast, and some online outfits that are very reputable. But you have to know that these are these trusted sources, and then you also want to verify that other trusted sources have said the same thing. So in my research, that's part of my, as just a citizen, you should do that. But as part of my job, I'm very careful that I'm not going to draw on an issue that hasn't been verified. A lot of cartoons these days, even though it's an opinion form or a craft where we express an opinion, truth is so under siege that like just highlighting what is true is so important at times, and can even come across as an opinion to people on the other side of the spectrum. But we're just saying like, hey, this is important. It's a fact. We need to just not forget about this. So that's become kind of a new part of my work, which is a little odd that I have to sort of just, in the past, like 10 years ago, that would be like an observational cartoon.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's vital because the truth is getting drowned out by so much noise.
So do you think that the evolution of your career has like kind of led you to this point where the humor is kind of is expressed in the line, or like the actual, like, as opposed to like the content, because the actual content like really digs into like an incredibly important current event?
So yeah, it's this mixture of humor and darkness, because the truth is not funny, and the truth is not happy all the time. So that sort of like cocktail of sort of emotions and visceral reactions, I think it's what makes a cartoon effective in terms of the way it communicates, and it brings readers back. That's the weird time we're in, that we're living through these crisis after crisis. During these times, people feel like they're kind of alone, and they're powerless. I mean, I know people can vote, but they can't do much right now other than just like read the news and be outraged, and also wonder like, is everyone else feeling this, or how many people are? And when they see something like my cartoon, because I have a position where I can communicate to a large number of people, that someone in my position feels the same way they do. Because, I use the word field because it's all rooted in truth, but the cartoons deliver emotion with that. And like that connects with the reader, and they don't feel alone anymore, and they feel like someone with some, megaphone, I guess you want to put it, where I can't reach an audience. If they, if I feel that way and I see the truth the way they see it, it gives them hope. And you just keep people aware and just keep the flame lit under everybody, so we don't, let everything slide, which it just continues to, it's hard to pay attention to every little, controversy and crisis.
Exactly. I mean, the Arctic is on fire.
Right.
And it's just like, but like living in America, we're having massive debates upon whether or not science of like the science of wearing a mask or covering your face is like a good idea or not.
That's the thing that kills me the most, that disappoints me the most, is that there's so much energy being spent on my part and on part of the media and just common regular civilians, like on Facebook, between family members, so much energy being spent debating the values of science and fact.
Yeah.
Like, and it's becoming an American trait, and it's becoming a very ugly American trait. I kind of get how like we started as a country as like just out of rebellion and distrust. So I get that. I mean, we distrusted the king, and we rebelled, and that revolutionary spirit is a part of us. You combine that with the fact that we are such a large country that it's hard to kind of get everybody on the same page.
Yeah.
I think it ebbs and flows, and right now we're in a really bad state like of distrust in terms of the scientific community, the media, government in general.
Yeah.
So I think trust is a fundamental part of being able to learn from your mistakes, because if you can't trust anybody, you're going to just stay in your same cycles. I mean, it's the same with like an interpersonal relationship. Like trust is fundamental, and you can apply that as a whole to a community, to a country. I mean, it's really the basis, and things are broken when it comes to that in America.
Perfect. A centered shot of this thing is like me. It's good to be together. Because I'm home all the time, I've noticed now through my window here, you can see, like, I don't know if you can see downtown.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So I've noticed that there's a sound has begun to permeate my audio here. It's like there's this sound downtown, and which is the only reason I'm interested in this is because I'm working on these new like ways of recording sounds, like different types of sounds, like, to try to expand my musicianship past the 12 tone system, past like the 88 keys on the piano. So I've been like recording new sounds and figuring out, like I went under the 190 and I recorded like all the overpass and like all the
Oh, sweet.
The trucks and and I mean the trucks are particularly cool sounding. It basically sounds like a backwards tape, like a there's a sound. It's coming out of downtown, and I've walked around like all of these surrounding like streets and things to try to figure out what the sound is, and it disappears. Like if you go towards Maureen's, like on Ellicott Street, it's more on this side of Maine, and it's just the most ridiculous sound. I get like a huge amount of it bouncing off all the buildings and coming through the wind. Anyway, that's like what's really new with me.
So Yeah, I mean, that would actually make a lot of sense because a lot of the other ambient noise from downtown is probably gone because it's not very busy down there right now, right?
Oh, no.
It's still kind of like shut
Crickets,
down.
man. Crickets.
Yeah.
It's down here.
Let's talk about a couple of the projects that you're working on. You're working on a couple of different things on Bandcamp. The noise tape is something that you got going on. What's up with that?
Well, Bandcamp is fun because it's like just a little like safe, like little space to put your stuff where it just sits around. You can have an editable album that you're just like constantly adding to. You can add to your albums and stuff. So I put up a couple things earlier in the quarantine. I right off the bat felt like, oh my gosh, this surge of creativity being kept inside. And right in March, I made this meditation tape, which I haven't done a lot of ambient stuff because I'm not the best with electronic music or making sort of like synthetic sounds. I'm really good at well, I'm not going to say really good because we're all learning, but I've sort of mastered like in my own way the like, you know, acoustic sounds of things, like even just like your body, you know, playing your xylophone and stuff, but I have not mastered like long extended loops or like things in which I've heard you do a couple things. I've heard some Kev loops sets that I really loved. So
some whoop loops. Yeah.
Maloopadoo-boops. So I aspired to do more of that, and so I started doing some meditation like type music, and I like put like a brick on the piano so it would sustain, you know, like that type of thing. So
far up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like trying it out. So there's a meditation tape for relaxing, for nothing else but relaxing, and like a noise tape, which is more like sort of like antsy sounds, like a window whistling or like the 190, like I said.
So like your music, the music that you compose and the music that you perform and stuff like that, it's so singular. You know, to hear you going into the more abstraction sounds and like the more ambient, like meditation kind of stuff, you know, like that's such a divergence from how you interact with a crowd, how you almost create like this cabaret feel with your performances, you know. So
thank you.
Yeah. So how are you changing the process with that? How are you getting along, you know?
Oh man, I started to not really miss performing, or like at least come back into myself and like think how is it that I want to present myself to the world. I just started to rethink it and start writing these songs, since now performing isn't even an option. I'm just gonna write and see where that goes. So I guess where I'm going with this is that my songwriting has started to blossom a lot more. I want to apply for some fellowships and like go to some isolated place and work on this music, because oh my gosh, I have like a really tripped out feeling in my head when I am writing this music, and I think that I'm like approaching this feeling that is so great when I start to write a song and like really think about all the options of all the notes I can use and what each note feels like and what each note like really it sounds like with the other notes. I mean, it's like being a chef or something, you know. It's and it's really meaningful to me. So like I want to give it a chance, and that's what this virus has sort of allowed me to do, which is like give my music more of a chance.
Thanks for watching, and until next time.